Hello. You almost,
Sup?
you almost cutting your head off.
A short person must have been.
We're gonna start with the short
Hi,
jokes.
baby. No,
Okay,
that was me.
so
I was sitting in the
good
chair and
good
for a
evening.
Zoom. Hey, D. Oh, let me take these off because you can see the
The
ring
the
light.
ring, the
Yes,
ring light.
the ring light. I can
Yeah.
still see. I promise.
Let me move. I think closer
Come
to you,
over
right?
closer to me, honey.
Closer. Yes.
Get a little closer. What commercial was that from? It's from like the 80s or 90s.
I think it was a gum commercial.
Get a little longer with Big Red. Big Red,
The red commercial. There you go. Okay.
right?
We had quite a weekend, as always.
It was
It was
crazy.
crazy weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm convinced that the telephone does listen to you. I'm totally convinced now
Okay.
because we had a busy weekend. We went to a landmark in New York, um,
Yeah.
where my wife was working over there.
Yeah.
I like running with you. I love running with you. It's always something interesting happening when
And I said this to you, and I'm gonna say this so our viewers hear. It's funny because when you came with me,
yes.
but every time I go to work in the city, like he'll come with me for a Christmas party or just come with me for the day and hang out
Hmm.
because you did that during the summer.
Right.
He just comes in like he works there. He starts taking picture, recording video. Do you
That's
want me to do this? And
that is my nature.
they absolutely love you. Like,
Well, I think they love me because I speak Chinese. That.
well, Jessica was just like, who was, my direct supervisor. She was like, "Is Pedro coming?" I was like, so he ended up coming, and I'm glad you came because,
So yeah, and
I get a
I'm glad I
little,
went too.
I get a little anxiety when I get to the city. When I go into the city, if I don't know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
So
We overshadowed. We went a little further than
yeah, which was okay because we were
yeah.
like an hour or so early.
Which is funny because I used to live right around there,
Did you?
like 2 blocks from there. I used to live.
In
Right.
another life. Um,
Um. Yeah. Go ahead.
um, so we ended up getting there early because I didn't have to be
Hmm.
there till 11:45.
Right.
So we got there super early and we were hungry.
Hmm.
And so we parked in a garage like 2 blocks away. And you said you want to walk down here to get something to eat. I'm like, well, Tavern on the Green, it's a restaurant, and you weren't sure if it was open, so we checked. It
Right.
was open,
Because
and
because they don't let people park on the parking lot anymore. The parking lot is right next to the side, and
yeah,
and I didn't see any cars, so it's leaving open.
right.
Then I read the sign that they don't let people
Hmm.
park there anymore. But anyway, it was a fun. Every time that we go out someplace, I remember surprising you for your birthday one time, and it took a year and a half. The reservation took a year
Oh,
and a
good
half
Lord! I remember.
for us to get there,
I know what you're referring to.
and the restaurant, and I think, and the restaurant was the food was very good. Okay,
Yeah,
everything there was very good, but the portion were about this big.
so small, so small.
So we ate and it was really good. We had a whole conversation with this lady. She wanted to find out all about you and what movies you've been in and blah blah blah.
Really, way back then?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think I had done anything as of
Oh no, you had.
some
Yes,
educational
yeah.
things, I think, but
So because we got to talking, what do you do? You're an actress.
mm,
Anyway,
you always talk about me like if I get up and go to the bathroom or something.
no. At one time I set it up.
I mean,
One time I set it up and
one time.
I said, listen, my wife doesn't like if she's not recognized.
Oh, good grief! And that is totally not true at all.
It's not true. She actually told me not to tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny when the guy came back. You look familiar.
Hey, Kanitha. So he's referring to Le Cirque. We went to Le
Le
Cirque.
Cirque. We went to Le Cirque. It took a year.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it took a year to set up that reservation.
We had our small portions, and then after that,
McDonald's.
We went to McDonald's because we were starving. But this time we went to Tavern on the Green. I don't know if any of our viewers have been there, but it is definitely
It's a landmark. Everybody has to go out there.
a New York landmark. And like I said, it was spur of the moment. I'm like, oh, it's open. Let's just go in. So we went in and had brunch, and it was so amazing, so romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still like.
And now you want to have brunch there every time. And so yeah, that was fun. And then part of your job was to give away stuff.
Yeah.
And you couldn't believe that people weren't taking it.
You guys. So the company I work for, we branding partners with a lot of different brands.
Mm-hmm.
One of the brands we're partnered with is Venustus, which is a outdoor heated apparel company. Like they have heated clothing, vests, coats, bomber jackets, polo jackets, hoodies. And we were walking around Central Park trying to give them away. The only catch was that the person had to put it on and say how it felt. Basically, we were just doing it for social media. It probably would have taken 30, 45 seconds. We couldn't give one out. Not one. And we only had 7. It's not like we had a ton, but people were like, no. With the exception of these 2 couples, one was from Texas. They don't need a winter coat.
And the other couple was from Florida.
They don't need Right. So we ended up giving it to 2 Turkish gentlemen that ride the hansom cab.
Horse ride.
Yeah. Is that what they're called? Hansom cab? Yeah, and they were very, very appreciative.
That was funny.
You were funny.
And you know, when you leave me alone, I'm going to have to talk to someone. So I started talking to this gentleman, and we started talking and he said, what do you do? I said, I'm a gymnastic coach. And, how did it go with the pandemic and things like that? Actually inspired me to write a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
He said, really? So then he wanted to know where I was from, and I told him I was from upstate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to know where he was from. And he tells me, Tennessee. I said, you kidding me? Or guess tomorrow on show, he's from Tennessee. and then, we just got to talking. And then he said, what's her name? And I said the name. And then he like, oh, I know. It's somebody that's married to a DeGraw. Something like that, married. I work with them.
Okay.
In a million years.
But that only happens to you.
It only happens. It does happen to me, and that doesn't.
Quite often.
In a million years.
So crazy.
What are the chances that you're talking to somebody from Tennessee? And we were talking about baking, which and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I forgot to get his name. I mean, he told me his name, but he was getting in a cab.
In a cab, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. That's a great segue into baking, because during the pandemic, it was Layla's junior year.
Mm-hmm.
It was her junior year. And this year she was taking cooking. She had to take home ec.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really like, oh, if you bake things, can you get extra credit? I guess they didn't have it like that at the time, but the teacher was very amazed because we really got into baking.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, what's the word? Therapeutic for me.
I only bake, biscuit.
The biscuits.
Yeah.
The ones that come in the canister, like
pop it, and put it in there, and
But I really enjoy it, and I have like 4 different toaster ovens in there, so we got to use it for something. Right. But I try to find a lot of recipes that are gluten-free and vegan, because I can't have dairy and I can't have gluten. Okay. So, I think it's very apropos that we have her on the show today.
Well, I've known her since she was a little girl, but I wasn't even sure if she remembered me. But her father, one time said, "Pete." So I asked, "Do you remember me?" And sure enough.
Who doesn't? I think even if you don't have the afro anymore.
I should say younger.
The tiny afro that you used to have that I saw in pictures. Your voice hasn't changed much. It's a little bit deeper, but and I didn't talk to you when you were in your 20s and 30s, but
without
audio
recordings,
yeah.
we're going to bring her on.
Yes.
Okay, and here we go. Nika.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Been a
What a
long
blast from the past.
time.
Thank you
How,
so much for inviting me.
Welcome to
oh,
the show. We've got a comment
Thank
already.
you.
I,
Thank you. I
oh,
want to
yes,
know, Mr. Pete, how
yes.
you ended up with such a hottie here.
Um, I bought a Mercedes and I gave it to her. She came to my kickboxing class, and it was love at first kick.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that,
love it.
that's how it happened.
I love it.
So Kanitha Corley is on. She says, "Hey Nika." She says, "I graduated Fallsburg Central with her."
Of course, everybody knows Bunky.
Yes.
That's my girl, of course.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it because we had
I
her
could
on
never.
the show, and I was on her show, and I asked her where the name Bunky came from. She said she couldn't remember it, but she had it for years.
Her entire life. That's the only way. Obviously, I know her name's Kanitha, but she'll always be Bunky to me.
Tea time with Bunky.
Tea time with
All
Bunky.
right. I saw that actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
How,
want to be on the tea time too. She's my next
oh,
one.
there we go.
There you go. There you go.
We'll start spilling the tea everywhere.
We like making connections.
Nika's gonna make the local TV show, online live show circuit.
And yes.
Tweed Talks, Tea Time with Bunky, and whatever else comes along.
Absolutely. I am here for all of it. I'm here for everything Sullivan County, everything South Fallsburg. As a matter of fact, hold
Yes.
on just 1 second. So my husband, I've been married for it's just a little. It's going to be 3 years.
Yes, I saw
And
that one.
yeah, he likes to kind of dig around in my past a little and surprise me with things here and there. And I would have worn this if I wasn't baking so much and it still fit. But look what he got me.
Oh.
So I'm representing, okay?
There you go.
Wow, I love
Wellsburg Comets.
Yes. Yes.
that.
They,
Is amazing.
some of them come to me for tumbling.
The cheerleaders.
Yeah, the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come. So it's been such. How long have you been gone from Sullivan County?
Oh my gosh, I think that I'm in Tennessee about 14 years now.
Wow.
Yes,
And then you were doing real estate, or you still doing that?
I am. I'm a full-time real estate agent.
Mhm. And then
But
how?
that's
Yeah, go
Pete,
ahead.
listen, Pete, let me tell you something, okay?
Okay.
It's been a major journey over here in Tennessee, you know?
Uh-huh.
A lot of life things happened here.
Uh-huh.
Raised my children here as a single mom.
Right.
My youngest is about to be 20.
Mhm.
I started out working at my brother's bar, which is now a huge, highest rooftop in Nashville on Broadway.
Ooh.
Yes, but it was a hole in the wall when I moved here. I was
Mhm.
booking music, waiting tables, bartending,
Wow.
and then, yeah. And then I went back into retail because I was like, look, I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to be a 50-year-old bartender. So I need to figure something else out here.
Uh-huh.
Right. So I went to work at Dillard's at the fragrance counter
Mhm.
and decided that that was not the job for me. And I became a dental assistant.
Oh.
Yes. And I was a dental assistant for 10 years in orthodontics.
Wow.
Wow.
And then I said, I don't want to be a 60-year-old dental assistant, so I need to do something else.
I love it.
So I got my real estate license, and I've been doing that now for over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I love everything about it.
Well,
And I've been very blessed to sell a lot of properties and represent some amazing people here in Tennessee, and bring a lot of New Yorkers over. Who's coming?
Yeah. We'll go and visit. I thought your brother had a bar in New York.
So they did. They had a bar in New York. So it started
Mhm.
out there. It was actually the National Underground, and that was sort of the beginning of what happened here in Tennessee. So the bar in New York is gone. He brought the National Underground here. This is my brother Joey and
Uh-huh.
Gavin. They brought the bar to Nashville, a hole in the wall in a building on Broadway. And my brother Joey worked tirelessly to
Mhm.
bring this thing into a successful state. And it's hard to believe that COVID is really what put it over the top and put it on the map.
Wow.
Yes,
Amazing.
which is
Amazing.
it's bizarre.
Yeah. A lot of the business, remember some of the people that we interviewed, some people started business during the pandemic.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I saw you baking
Yes.
one time with a friend, and I said, "Wow, that's interesting." So
Why?
because we always wanted to have somebody, talking about cooking. There's a couple of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we have.
No, we haven't.
You're the first.
No. You're the second because a friend of ours, an actor, he
Mhm.
wrote a cookbook.
Oh, Lorenzo.
Oh,
Lorenzo, he
Lorenzo.
forgot.
Lorenzo. That's right.
Yeah, and he wrote a cookbook, and we had him on. We made him cry. We're not gonna make you cry.
well, you know what? You can't promise me that you're not going to make me cry. You don't know what my buttons are. You could push one. You don't know. Listen, there's a lot of memories back there in Sullivan County for me,
Yes.
you know? But speaking of COVID, that's when Baking New Memories was born.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very, well, let's put it this way. I already said I moved here as a single mom, raising the children, right? So at that time, and I was in dental at the time that COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
So we were obviously shut down.
Right.
Health, everything was shut down. We were terrified. Nobody knew what was happening. And
Right.
so I asked my children who lived a couple hours away from me, I said, why don't we all just come to the house and be together at home? Because they were talking about shutting down the borders between like Georgia. And so the kids were in another part of Tennessee, but you had to cross the Georgia state line
Oh boy.
to get to where I lived. And I said, I think everybody should come home. We should all quarantine together. A, we'll know that we have enough toilet paper. Everybody bring your toilet paper with you. And B, we don't have to worry if we can make it to each other. God forbid, we don't know what's going to happen, right?
I love that.
So it was while they were home and I had really nothing to do. We were bored out of our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I would love to bake my great grandmother's Mandelbrot recipe, which I had never made in my whole life, but I have eaten it for my entire life up into my 30s until she passed away, which is pretty amazing. I still had my great grandmother in my 30s. So
Right.
I reached out to my aunt and she sent me the recipe handwritten.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ingredients on it was a juice glass of orange juice. That was the measurement. And I'm thinking, like, right? How many people even know what a juice glass is anymore? Like, you don't know, everybody throws those out.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes with a juice glass anymore. So I definitely expected it to be a disaster. Wasn't going to come out well. It didn't matter. We're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized while we were doing it, I'm sharing all these stories about my life and my experience and my memories with my great grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, and now I'm sharing this all with my children while we're doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not the recipe came out great really didn't matter at that point. It was like the doors that it opened up and the conversation, but it came out amazing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot that I love baking. Life got busy and I forgot. And so I posted the story and the Mandelbrot, and the group was born.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 4 years ago now. And and when you said in the beginning, Crystal, about baking being therapeutic, That's exactly correct. My love bakers, I call them love bakers. Everybody that's in my group, everybody is going through real life experiences, you know, and we're dealing with the difficulties of life and the realities of life. I lost both my parents. And, you know, who's not going to go through that? Everybody's going to go through that in one form or another. This is how we leave the world, right? So we're going to relate in that way. And so it actually is very much a support group, which is interestingly, I had no idea, but that is very much what it is.
Yeah, when you were did you make a book out of it?
Not yet.
You should. You should. Yeah.
I absolutely plan to.
Yeah, because you know you sharing those memories, and a lot of people will relate to that. And I think, like my wife was saying, that's therapeutic, but also having the book and reading it, you know, that's also therapy.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, as somebody who's written a book, Pedro, maybe we'll need to talk. And I agree with you. And when I think about the cookbook, or you know, whatever it's going to be, I always think of it just literally wrapped in memories and sharing those things, because I know it's a very human experience, and it's really what we're left with here, right? In so many ways are the memories. Keeping them alive through food, through the recipes, and that connection has been like, I mean, I never would have thought about this before I started doing it. I did not even realize the beauty of that connection with people, you know? Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. And you know that food, there's always typically happiness that surrounds food, because people are hungry, they're coming together, they're sitting down as a family, or even if you have, like, we have family game nights. Right. You know, the games are one part of it, and we also have, we always plan what we're gonna have. Like, what do you guys want? You know, we're gonna put it together, and you know. So I think when you talk about food, or when you have the idea of food, and you're making a cookbook and things like that, there's always love that I think of that surrounds the idea of food.
100%. And what's interesting about that is, I think a good part of the time, especially the younger kids, but I'm going to throw myself in there too, you don't realize the memories that you're making, because you're taking for granted very often that this is just a present moment, right? And you don't think about it until later, when something reminds you of what your mom made, or of something that a past loved one has made, and the memories come rushing back from the smell and the taste. And then you begin to realize and appreciate the memories that food has created in your life. And part of what I love to do is take the recipes of my other love bakers and make them, because I want to connect to them on that level too. I want to understand what their memory is. And, you know, sometimes this was a big thing in the beginning. Sometimes people don't have a recipe. They just remember certain flavors. They know it was like a lasagna, or they know it was like you know what I mean? But they don't know everything that was in it. I have taken several recipes from people, and they've just told me what they recall about it. And then I will recreate it to the best of my ability and just try to recreate that memory. So in a way, that's what baking new memories is. Yes. Even if you don't have those old recipes, we can still provoke the memory. We can recreate it, and you can keep that in your life and pass it on, which I think is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's just like when you listen to a song that's an old song, and then you start thinking about where you were.
Yeah.
You know, food is the same thing. Like, I remember when I was back in Dominican Republic, and they used to make the bacalao, right? Now, I haven't made it in a long time, but now they have this restaurant here, Con, and which is a Dominican restaurant, and I always order that now. It made me feel like a little kid. I feel like a little kid.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Oh. So that's why I get it.
Aww. And it's delicious.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Sit on a high chair and that's it.
You know, there is this pie that my mom used to make when I was a child, and she would make it every Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving without fail, because it was our absolute favorite, mine and my siblings. And you don't have to bake it, it's a Cool Whip pie. But now I started to make it, and now every Thanksgiving there was like, "Did you, Crystal? Did you make the Cool Whip pie? Did you make the Cool Whip pie?" I'm like, "Of course." And
Why are you
now,
talking about my granddaughter like that?
no, no, I'm talking about my siblings. But
My
now
granddaughter.
Ileana, now she absolutely loves it. Did Crystal make the Cool Whip pie? So now we're making those new memories.
Memories, yeah.
For
Exactly.
recipe.
Well, so there was my grandmother
Hmm.
on my mom's side for my entire life. She would make a chocolate pudding pie, and she would make it. And I'm not kidding. Like we can just go buy a graham cracker crust. She would take graham crackers, line them up, line the whole pan with graham crackers. We would make the pudding like you're stirring. This is not instant chocolate pudding. This is like we are literally stirring, and then you got to wait for it, the old school. And
Hmm.
then she would make whipped cream to put on top. I go as far as making the whipped cream. I cannot do the whole process all the time for all the things. So, but I always now at Thanksgiving make a small chocolate pudding pie,
Yes.
Hmm.
and my children always, and I just, and this is what I tell my love bakers, listen, you don't have to have every single ingredient and every single thing perfect. This is not about that. This is about what do you have? It's going to work. Use what you have. It's going to be okay. You don't have to get anything special. You don't have to get anything expensive. If we need to recreate it to bring ease of making it, just so you can experience the memory, you
Oh,
know?
that's beautiful.
And
That's
that's really how I feel.
Hmm.
hmm.
Shoot, so for Christmas, my son came home for Christmas. He's in Boston in college. I
Mm.
got to give him a little shout out. My little Cameron, he is in college studying physics.
Hmm.
Awesome.
That's his major, and he wants to be a particle physicist. So I don't know what that means, and it has nothing to do with pie, but I'm very proud of him. Well, no, it might have something to do with pie, just a different kind.
That reminds me of a Marvel movie. Which one was that? The one with the little. Go ahead, Nika.
He reminds me of a lot of like I'm telling you, my brain is everywhere when I think of him.
Uh-huh.
However, so at Thanksgiving he didn't come home. My aunt is in Boston too, so he celebrates with her those things. But I made a pumpkin pie cheesecake, okay, with a graham cracker crust. It's amazing. It's the first time my kids had it when they came home, and they kept saying, "You have to make this for Cameron when he comes home for Christmas. You have to make it again." So I said, "Okay, I will," because these are his two favorite things, cheesecake and pumpkin pie. I said, "All right." So I texted him, "Do you want this?" He said, "Please." Well, when I went to make it, I didn't have any graham crackers,
Oh,
and that's the crust.
Right.
okay.
And it's Christmas. And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? So, you know what I did? I had a bag of those thin pretzels
Uh-huh.
from like TJ Maxx, and I
Uh-huh.
ground them up and I used pretzels instead.
Wow. That's great.
What?
And
So you got
I know, I was like, what did I just do? And it was even better.
That's
you created something.
crazy.
There you go. That's
So
what you
I'm
create.
saying, use what you have. Don't freak out. Whatever. This is about enjoying.
Hmm.
End of story. It's not a test. It's not a contest. It doesn't have to be perfect. The process of it
Yeah.
Hmm.
is the whole point.
That's exactly the way I feel when I'm making sancocho, which is they call Puerto Rican penicillin. It's just the soup with everything in it.
It's
And
everything.
so we make it Dominican style. And I remember, we were talking about it. And Ileana, again, she said, "Oh, can you make sancocho?" I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I'll make it. I'll make it for Christmas because Thanksgiving it didn't work out." So then she was looking it up online. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to make it." There's like 68 steps and 500 different ingredients. I'm like, listen, I don't even use the recipe online. These are like the meats that I use. I don't use the lamb, goat. I use like five meats. and then potatoes and everything, because you can't. Otherwise, you'll be in the kitchen
Forever.
forever.
Yeah, or you'll just give up.
Exactly. You have to simplify it. So I totally agree. You have to simplify it so it makes sense for you.
Did she make it?
She did not make it. I
She was like, 5 meats, forget it, I'm done.
and I think there's more than that. It's crazy. Like, you got to use this. I'm like, no, I'm using chicken, pork, a beef, maybe a sausage, and then maybe one other. But it's crazy.
But that's what I mean. You took it and you made it doable because you don't have that kind of time.
No.
You know, we have something called Jewish penicillin.
Okay.
I've heard.
Okay. I didn't know there were other ethnic penicillins. I had no idea. I love this. So, I mean, Jewish penicillin obviously is chicken soup, right? Yes. I mean, it's so simple, but it's something that my mother always made. Okay. And, you know, my mom, both of my parents passed away. My dad is 3 years ago, both 2 different kinds of cancer. Yeah. So, but my mother was Jewish. And so I was raised with all of that on my mom's side. My dad was Catholic. Then my mother was first generation born again Christian in a Jewish household. Try that.
Ooh.
Try that in the 60s.
That's interesting.
Yeah, she chose a tough path. But
Easter and Passover.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Hanukkah, Christmas, Easter, Passover. We did Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, all the things that you can imagine. Yes, we had there was a holiday like every single month, basically. And that involved a lot of food.
Yeah.
As you can imagine. But so she would make this incredible soup and she would put the chicken and the boiling water and the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? Here's what I do. It takes an hour to make this soup. You get your vegetables, you do your stock, vegetables boil for an hour, and I just get a rotisserie chicken. If you're going to tell me when I'm sick I have to put a chicken in the oven, I'm not making it.
Right.
But if I can say bring home a rotisserie chicken, bam, 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 just like that, and you have Jewish penicillin.
There you go.
Does the trick every time.
And it works too.
You know who makes a really good gluten-free matzo ball soup? This guy.
Get out of here.
Seriously.
Yep. I make it for her because she, the gluten.
He's rolling the matzo balls because you can get the gluten-free mix at ShopRite. So we just get it at ShopRite.
Okay. Oh my God, I miss ShopRite. We don't have ShopRite here.
What do you have? Piggly Wiggly? What is it? Kroger's.
That's right?
Chopper.
She's just like, all the South is Piggly Wiggly. That's it. And you are close to correct. But no, we have Kroger and Publix. We do have Publix. It's expensive.
We have a young lady that's
Antoinette Joyner Florence.
Her name sounds super familiar.
We love your parents, amazing people. Antoinette, grew up in Fallsburg. What year did you graduate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pop it in the comments right there.
Yeah, I want to hear more. I recognize her name. I think she follows me on Facebook. I miss ShopRite too. I'm in Florida. Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the South. Yeah, so you have Publix. So, but ShopRite, let me tell you, because I lived in Liberty for a little while. And I was
So did my wife. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was a cashier at ShopRite.
Oh, snap.
And I loved it. But you know why? It was social. I got to talk to people while I'm checking them out, and I loved it. So
that's a good way to learn like a specific skill set, especially now. Like I recommend that now to kids who have less social interaction, public social interaction, not on social media. So, learning to work with people and talk to people and be cheery when you don't feel like it. I think that's a really great thing.
Oh, they could be a realtor.
Bonus.
Yeah, they can.
Or they could just play one on TV. Like
You're right, they can play one on TV. You know, I wanted to speak to your gluten intolerance because I don't know if you know that I bake with sourdough. I have my own sourdough starter.
Uh-huh.
And so I do a lot of sourdough. All of my sourdough stuff is mostly on TikTok and Instagram
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to overrun my baking new memories. They're not all sourdough people. So I don't want to overrun it with all sourdough so there I'll do a mixture of all the baking and the sourdough. But my mother-in-law gifted me a sourdough starter about a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And I have kept her alive all this time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know that about sourdough. Like you keep it alive and it lives in your house. It's like a child.
Yeah.
Okay. So at one point, after making all these breads and all these different things, I decided I was going to start selling the sourdough starter because it's very hard to grow your own starter, to start your own starter. So this starter is like 25 plus years old. And so I started looking up, like, how can I share my starter with people? And the best way to do it is through the dehydration process. So I dehydrate her. Her name is Joy. Okay. Her name was Harvey.
Oh.
When she was a guy. This is very now. Like, this goes with today's society, right? She was identified as Harvey, but I'm going to tell you why.
People can say that.
So funny.
Yeah.
But this is why. So when I got it, I named it Harvey. Harvey Krieger was my grandfather. Okay. He owned Krieger Chevrolet and Olds in Woodridge, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Upstate New York. So in Woodridge, you guys know Woodridge.
Yeah.
So I named it Harvey. Well, after I decided that I was going to dehydrate Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I just don't feel like the people are going to want to, like, buy, like, purchase Harvey. Like, what am I doing here? What am I giving to people, right? And it just came to me that this brings me so much joy. And it was at the Christmas season too. I'm like, just joy filled. I'm like, this is giving me so much joy. And then I'm spreading her out on this silicone sheet to dry her out. And I'm like, I am literally spreading joy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I said to my husband, her name is Joy, and I'm going to distribute joy. But here's the crazy thing. Harvey, my grandfather, his wife, my grandmother, Eileen, her middle name was Joy.
Wow.
And I said, she done took over. She just walked in and said, move over. This is my show. My grandma. So my grandmother is in the house.
Uh-huh.
And people have been purchasing Joy and growing their starter. And it's opened up this whole new world for me. Like, people are like texting me and messaging me on Facebook, showing me pictures of Joy, and is she supposed to look like this, and all the stuff. It's amazing.
I'm not following her, and I don't know why, so I'm gonna do it right now.
Oh, well, first of all, what you're gonna do is send me your address, and I'm going to send you Joy as a gift.
There you go.
As a gift.
I'm just a little verklempt.
Oh, I made you cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
I'm crying. By the way, everybody there that knows me, well, you're all my same age. I'm 52. I have hot flashes. So if I turn red, I'm fine.
Okay. Neeka said,
you posted it. Okay. Antoinette said, okay. Oh, so she knows your brothers. She was
got it.
Joey and her sister was in class with Gavin.
Yeah. Oh.
Look, we're also gonna make another connection. She was also
a bagger in ShopRite.
Guess what? I worked
crazy.
I worked at the J.C.Penney Catalog Center on Broadway in Monticello. You know, when
my God.
From the catalog, and then they would ship it to the.
I went there several times. I never.
How about, do you remember Sullivan's?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Sullivan's is
Liberty.
Bye.
Yeah,
Of course.
it's a different thing now. I
Yeah.
actually did a film there.
They have offices there, and also they host indoor markets. Well, me and Layla just went to one last month or something like that, so it's really great.
What about the Apollo Plaza? Did that sink yet?
Yes.
Pretty much.
I mean, like sink into the ground. Do you remember they would talk about like it's built basically on a swamp and the whole thing was sinking while we're all working there?
I mean, there are still parts of the structure that are still standing, so I don't know if any of it sunk. I haven't gotten that close to it.
Are you guys in Monticello? Are you in Monticello still?
Yes, we are. Monticello.
I tried to get him to move, and we're still here.
To where?
To where?
Actually, we have somebody that's related to you, but you didn't know.
Okay.
Adeline DeGraw.
Adeline
DeGraw.
Adeline?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know her dad's name. The dad is
a cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the DeGraw family is gigantic.
I know. We had a couple of them, a couple of Virginians.
Mm-hmm.
And Bracington's sister, you know,
I recognize that last name.
Bracington? Yeah, Pat Bracington. Their aunt is related to you by marriage.
That's crazy.
Had the twins, remember that, the twins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember, oh my God, there's so many people. Remember Grace?
Yes.
She was like the #1 gymnast when I was there. And I beat her on floor at a competition, and I'll never forget it.
That memory won't fade, huh, Neeka?
That won't go away.
No. I was like, I beat Grace. How did I do that?
You remember I beat her on floor?
And so the Dooleys. Remember the Dooleys, the girls?
Yes. I was just talking about them the other day. My wife never met them.
I don't know them.
But the
red hair, redheads.
Redhead, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up living with Liz Kim Wayman.
Okay.
Yeah. They ended up living with them. I was telling you the story the other day.
I don't know them.
Yeah, they're two sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were more, but you know. Go ahead.
Gymnastics saved my life. It was such a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, you said you were surprised that I remembered you. I mean, come on. You're Pete. What are you talking about?
I would say that because being so many years. But Lori, I know.
Oh, she lives in Sweden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know how her and I reconnected?
How?
Instagram.
No, you'll die when you hear the story. But don't die, because we need you. No. The tsunami. Remember the tsunami years and years and years ago in Thailand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And there was a woman from Sweden who had she had just gotten married on the beach in Thailand the day before the tsunami hit. The tsunami claimed her 2-year-old son, her mother, and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
She was a young woman, gorgeous, gorgeous girl named Sarah.
Right.
And something inside of me, I saw her on CNN. She was talking, and I said, I'm going to help that woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what possessed me. I was living in Gardner, New York, out by New Paltz in the Hudson Valley. I had never New Paltz is so gorgeous. I had never made an international call in my life. This thing overtook me. I have to get in touch with this woman. I want to help her find her son. She thought her son was still alive, right? His name was Johannes. So I found her. I literally found her father and called her father. He spoke enough English to give me her phone number. She was still in Thailand searching for her son.
Mm-hmm.
I called her, and she always said, I can't believe that you reached my phone because I was in the middle of the jungle when you called me. She was in the middle of the Burmese jungle searching for her son. But my call went through. And I said, I don't know how I'm supposed to help you, but I said, I'm going to help you. I'm going to start raising money. I don't know how it will help you, but I'm going to start raising money. I called it the Johannes Project. And I started selling these prisms, crystal prisms, and I would bead the wire that they would hang from. And I sold them all around New Paltz. I sold them online. I sold them everywhere that I could. The story went into the record up there. And we held a small benefit, my brother sang at, and we kept on just collecting money just for whatever. Well, she ended up coming and staying with me for a summer. Yeah, for a summer. They had already found her husband's body. They had already identified her mother's body, but they had not identified her son at the time. And we were, of course, hoping against all hope, right? But I mean, I was reaching out to people on the internet that were looking through photos of like bodies, basically, to identify, right? And I did have people reach out and say that they think that, Well, anyway, one day she went home and she told me that they came to her door and they had identified him through DNA, but they, well, hold on. I went to Sweden too. Okay. So before she came to me, I went to her. My mother and myself went to Sweden to meet with her and be with her. Well, they did a big news story while we were there in the newspaper. That's how Lori found me.
Wow.
So Lori, and I'm like, what are you doing in Sweden?
Yeah.
Like, how bizarre is this? She married a Swedish guy. She has kids. She speaks Swedish. I'm like, this is insanity. Okay, Lori Goldsmith, what are you doing in Sweden? But that's how we reconnected. That story went out in Sweden, and she reached out to me on Facebook, and she's like, I live here. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The world is so small.
Very.
It's funny because I tell Lori that she's the glue that holds us together, because she had gotten all of the gymnasts, and she's always, reaching out, and she came to visit me a couple of times. So. Yeah.
She's wonderful. She actually came to visit us too when she came home while Sarah was staying at my house, and we got to see her for a day. Which was really, really nice. And you never know why all the connections, but this is what I mean. It's like, we're doing this dance called life.
Right.
And we're really what are we having? A human experience. So there's a lot of commonalities through it all, even though individually we have our unique experiences.
Right.
They're not so unique necessarily, right?
Right.
Because it's all a part of life. We came in one way and we're all going out the same.
Exactly.
So it's like, let's do a nice dance together. Let's love each other, right? And find those common aspects. And I've been lucky enough that baking has been one of those things that has connected people in my life. I find that a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think it's my parents and my grandparents. The ancestry, they might be gone, but if you think they're far away, you are mistaken, my friend. They're all right here.
Yeah. It's those moments, the way that people make you feel. I know that when I reached out, I said, "Do you remember me?" Right? And I don't know. I don't know why I say that, but I always say that. And I was
as opposed to the other Dominican coaches that were.
Exactly. Let me think.
Your father came over. It's funny. Your father came over to me and said, "Pete, right?" And I said, "You remember me?" And I was so happy that he remembered me. And then my wife and I were working in Walmart.
In Walmart, yeah.
And this guy, Pete, Pete is calling me, and I look back. I said, "Oh my God, it's Gavin DeGraw." I wonder if he remembers me. He said, "I remember you teaching me the fundamental of wrestling."
Oh
I
my
said,
God.
"What?
It was
You were a little
hysterical.
kid."
Yeah.
So
That
it
is
was funny.
hilarious.
It was so sweet though when he saw Pete. It was like Pete
He
was.
turned into a kid.
Yeah, it was like Pete was like this beacon of like, oh my God, Pete, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's
But
so sweet.
that was me when Pete reached out to me. And I never knew him as Pedro or Pedro, I never.
Right.
So, I saw that, but when he said, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, duh, you're Pete.
There are 3 people that call him Pedro: me, his mother, and his brother. Everyone else,
and everybody in Newburgh, the gymnastics school in Newburgh, they all call me Pedro.
yeah.
Because that's how you introduce yourself, probably.
County, it's just like Pete.
But
Yeah.
I remember that Lori always, she loved your name.
My name?
Your name. She always, Neeka. She used to say it all the time.
It's so funny.
When I was talking to her, I said, "Do you remember you used to say her name all the time?" She said, "Yeah, but unfortunately, the time difference, she won't be able to see the show until later." But yeah,
That's
I
okay.
remember.
She'll see it later, and I'm going to reach out to her on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But when you reached out to me and asked if I would do this, I was like, duh, of course I'm going to do this. Are you kidding me? Because I look at you the same way. And that's the thing, too. It's like the role that people play in the lives of children makes such a lasting effect. And I think that not enough adults realize when you're dealing with children, these children are going to grow up and they're not going to forget. How they were treated by you, what they learned from you, whether it's traumatic or amazing, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to remember. And I remember you as a light in my life.
Wow. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you for being in my life.
I feel left out, that I missed out because,
You are the new light in my life, Crystal. You are the new light in my life.
But I didn't have those gymnastics experiences, running around.
Good thing, because I don't date anybody that
Everything happens just as it should.
Yes. When she came in and she brought her kid to gymnastics, I was climbing around.
And so you date the parents?
Yeah. and well, she wasn't. She brought her kid, and I was sitting next to Tam, who is your cousin by marriage, and I said to him, "Tam, I'm going to marry that lady."
I love this story.
Climbing around, I said that to him, and then he came to my wedding. Our wedding.
I love it.
That was funny.
You knew. You knew.
Well, people knew before we did. People kept saying that because she came to the kickboxing class.
Yeah.
And people were, those two are in love. Those two are in love. We weren't even thinking that.
No, we're not.
No.
I love it so much.
So how did you meet your husband?
Have you? It's not that story. I can tell you that right now. Everyone was in shock that we got married. We met on Bumble, which is a dating app.
Oh, yeah.
We did. And we got married 2.5 months after we met.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it.
I think when you know, you know.
You took too long.
Yeah. What would it take? 6 months? What?
No, I think we dated for a year and we were engaged for 2 months and we got married, but 2 months.
Yes, the 2.5 months. So since it was Bumble, we have this whole bee theme that goes on in our lives. So everybody gives us little gifts with bees and all of that, which is adorable. And we've been married. It'll be 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Settled that part of my life.
Did you guys do anything special for Valentine's Day?
baked?
I can't remember. We did. He made a dinner.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember. Listen, I just joined a team with real estate. My head is so fried and so spinning that I just joined with a business partner, and he's teaching me so much stuff. He's been doing this for 20 years. And every day he has me on the phone and he's coaching and he's doing it. And I am just like, I'm so bombarded that I'm like, I gotta go home and go to bed. I need rest before I do any of this. I was like, Lord have mercy, because I just got on the team like a week ago, but we had been talking about it for a while. And I mean, from the second I started, it's been go, 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 go. And let me tell you, business has picked up like tremendously, but my head is spinning on my shoulders. So I don't even remember Valentine's Day.
Did we do anything?
I think you have to work.
See?
I guess I don't remember Valentine's Day either.
No,
exactly. Here's the right answer. Every day is Valentine's Day.
Especially with this guy right here.
That's right.
No, she had to work that day. She had to go to the city.
I did. Yeah. I was in the
city. So you were talking about the city, Tavern on the Green.
Yes.
Yeah, my cousin had her engagement party there many moons ago. But it's so beautiful. I miss New York.
Oh my gosh. I'm still so blessed that I feel so blessed that we were able to go there, because it's such an iconic location in New York City, and so many people know about it. And I think I said to him, I think I loved it more because it was impromptu. Like, we didn't say, all right, this day we're going to go to the city, we're going to Tavern on the Green. It was just kind of like, they're open, let's have brunch.
I love it. Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why we didn't call Jerry D.
Jerry, hey Jerry, thank you for coming in. Jerry says, welcome to the world of real estate. All the best to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Long Island, I think?
He's close. I know we're supposed to meet in Chinatown. So
we love Chinatown. We love
Me
Chinatown.
too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the shopping.
And Little Italy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We have an Italian restaurant that we have been to a couple times in Little Italy. Just, I don't remember the name of it, but it's so delicious.
Yeah. That was.
It's some Italian name.
It's some Italian.
Yeah, some Italian name in Little Italy.
And we found actually a strictly gluten-free Italian restaurant in downtown. You have to go.
What?
You have to go because it's so authentic and delicious.
Do they do gluten-free cannolis?
Yes.
Across the street.
Across the street, they have it.
Across the street.
A bakery, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
It is amazing. And then the chef ended up leaving and opening his own restaurant. I went to that one too when I was working in the city, and I stayed a half a block from there. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I walked out there. So I'm going to message you with my address, and then I'm going to send you the deets on that restaurant.
Please do. Yes. And the sourdough.
Yes.
You know, we do a sourdough discard pizza. Literally like twice a week. It is so easy. There is so much you can do with the sourdough, with the starter, with the disc. There's so much. Your life will change when you have this in your house.
I'm here for it.
It's yours. She's yours. Joy is on her way to you.
Joy.
Wow.
That's right.
She's following you now. She wants to move to Tennessee.
Yes, our friend Dee currently lives in Delaware. And the one thing about our viewers is that when they join us and they see our guests, they typically end up following you, purchasing whatever book you're selling or item.
I love
it is. So, you know, we have some really great dedicated.
I love it. Well, you know, I really wanted to extend the opportunity to offer Joy, anybody in Sullivan County or any of your viewers that reach out, at a discount. So half the price, so that I can just cover sending her to you and just my small expense with her at home. She's normally $20, $10. And because I really want, and she comes with rehydration instructions. She comes with my story called Journey to Joy. And she comes with, you have access to me via Facebook, Messenger, TikTok, message, or Instagram, whatever. If anybody wants joy and wants to experience this journey there from Sullivan County, or viewers of this, that is my extension to them, because, you know, look, that's my hometown. If I want to do a journey to joy with anybody, I want to start from the foundation.
Hey, there you go.
Let me see if I can hear that.
Wonderful. I love it. That sounds great, because we are, well, not you. You're not you don't bake often. You know, you said you bake biscuits. You also bake that Jiffy cornbread too. So, you know.
You can make sourdough cornbread. It's going to be sourdough everything in your house.
Ooh.
Pete's going to be the one that's baking with it. I promise you. I feel it. He's going to be the sourdough baker.
All right. I love it. I'm always looking for like different products and things like that to incorporate into my repertoire in the kitchen. So I'm here for it, and I'm ready.
You're going to love it.
We're posting some pictures.
Aww. Look at those cookies.
Those look yummy.
Those were sugar cookies at Christmas time. I did with my kids. I remember.
Fancy sugar cookies right there.
They look fancy.
I know, and they were so easy to do.
Okay, hold on. Let me just see if anyone commented while we were away. Oops. I was going to share that, but then I spelled sourdough wrong. There's no I. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to post that in the comments to let people know to reach out to you. And you're offering
absolutely.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Anybody can get me on Facebook Messenger anytime.
And your page?
Yeah, well, Baking New Memories. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Baking New Memories on Facebook. It's Baking New Memories with Neeka DeGraw on Instagram. Baking New Memories Neeka DeGraw on TikTok. Baking New Memories Neeka DeGraw with Neeka DeGraw on Facebook. And then I've also just, I mean, you know, if you want to just get me through my normal personal page, Neeka DeGraw Boils. I answer from everywhere. Whatever you want to call me, I'm going to answer you.
I'm like that too. Just send me a message. I'm on all the socials.
Now, do you know Melissa?
All of them.
Yeah, you might know. Well,
of course. Melissa Stolman. Are you serious?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just talking to her sister the other day.
Oh, really?
Via Facebook Messenger. Rebecca, yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I saw also Patty Posner. Do you remember her?
Oh, Patty. She wrote a book.
Yes, she did.
She was on,
and I guess who has the book?
I have the book, and actually in the book.
I have the book too. I bought it the second it came out. I haven't read it, but I had to have it.
Oh yes, absolutely. Is it there? We have all our guest books somewhere close by. Oh, this is it, I think.
I haven't read it, but I have it. And I'm going to tell you a part of the reason I wanted to buy that book as quickly as I did. Well, first of all, my mom was very close with Patty. But secondly, you know, we lived at the tail end of the hotels there. So, you know, I was a lifeguard for years, and I worked at the Pines, and I lived there over the summers at the very tail end. Yeah, so we were still involved in the tail end of the hotel days, you know, which of course my parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents enjoyed the glory days of the hotel there. So
yeah, the stories are amazing. So just going through this book and reading some of the stuff was just pretty great. Oh, look at young Pete in his blue sweatsuit.
Please see.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
look at that.
That's
guy.
me and Johnny.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and this.
Pete, you're everywhere.
I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the outfit.
Yeah, no, the afro.
Oh, the afro.
The afro. That's what I was thinking. As soon as I saw it, I said, "Okay, now I remember the hair when you had hair."
Let me see what Jerry's saying.
Jerry says sourdough sounds delicious. We'll give it a try.
I would love that. I mean, they'll love it. And let me tell you, my starter Joy is so strong. I have such great reviews on her. People enjoy it. I'm obsessed with her. I really am. I wake up and I tell her good morning and I look and see how she looks and all the things. I love her so much.
I just pasted your Instagram link in the comments.
Thank you.
Just so folks have at least one avenue to reach out to you.
Awesome. TikTok is a big one for the sourdough.
Okay.
But
every
video that I make for TikTok is automatically saved to my phone. So if anybody just reaches out to me via any kind of messenger, I can send anything that they need that would help them.
I love that.
Awesome.
I'm looking you up right now on the TikToks.
On the TikToks. Making new memories.
And I just followed you.
Oh!
That's Dolly.
Oh, Dolly.
Say hi, Dolly.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's another dog there.
Yeah, this is her brother Tybee.
It's a party over there.
It is. It's a puppy party all the time.
Is that you, honey, that I heard in the background?
Yes, that's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. I was relegated to watch the race in the other room.
Oh, okay. It's
That's
nice
good.
to meet you.
I like your hair. I like your haircut, just like mine.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
603, baby.
Oh my gosh, Neeka, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on Tweed Talk. I followed you on TikTok. I have it right here. Look.
Yay.
I'm
Yes.
all over it. I'm all over it. I'm talking to you now.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I was just saying this, you know, Bart and Hal Coopersmith, the Coopersmiths.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know them, but my parents were close with them, and he reached out to me via Facebook, and I'm like, every familiar face just makes me feel so good. It really does, you know? So I appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
You're part of my good memories. You're part of my good memories, Pete.
I'm so glad that you said that. You know,
it's the truth.
So many kids, you know.
Are you gonna?
Well, how about not all the memories were good, but you're part of the good ones.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm glad. You know, it's being over 5,000 kids now, so
that's crazy.
And they're all growing up.
It has to be.
You know, when I posted that photo about the book that's coming out, Susie Weiss think it was about her. She's like, yeah, we made a lot of good memories.
I love it. Well, I'll have your book here too. Trust me.
Awesome.
Do you have well, we're gonna send me your address.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a copy of my first book.
First one. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, and I'm gonna send you Joy. So we're gonna swap addresses, and we're gonna send love to each other. I love it.
Yes.
I can't wait to read it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Tweed Talks, Neeka. Have a wonderful night, and we'll be in touch.
And we'll see you.
Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, guys.
Yes, we'll see. We'll watch you when you're on with Monkey.
Yes, I can't wait. Please.
Okay.
That would be amazing.
We'll see you then. I'm sure she'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good night. Thanks, guys. Mwah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Well, I knew she was going to be fun.
Wonderful.
And the thing about the baking, you know, like I was thinking about that because it's a whole about thing with the sourdough.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew that you were going to find that interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Neeka, and you know, I wanted it to be about her. I didn't want to talk about her brothers. You know.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, her brother is Gavin DeGraw, the recording artist. Joy DeGraw, which actually is a musician as well. So, but then she mentioned them, so I wanted to make sure that you know who she was talking about. Eventually, we'll get it on the show too. Anyway, that was fun, wasn't it?
It was so much fun.
Insightful and entertaining. Great seeing you too, Jerry.
And we say
We
this
want
all
to
the
go
time.
dancing with you.
We say this all the time that some of our best guests, you don't even need to ask them a question.
She was amazing.
And
amazing.
The story that she told was just about the tsunami in
Oh my
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I just was in that story is that's another book. That's another book.
Crazy. What a crazy world we live in.
We agree with you.
Yeah. So listen, you guys, I just want to send love to everybody because that's just the way I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important because
share your love.
As was mentioned, at a time like now, everyone is going through something.
There was a couple of nuggets that she dropped.
Some nuggets
that she dropped unexpectedly. We didn't even ask, and she just dropped it. It was great. So if you didn't see the show, go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to repeat that again. I said, say that again.
Yeah.
She was great. I remember she always being a joy as a little kid.
Wow.
And Lori was stuck on her name. She loved her name. I can't believe she don't remember that. But it was Neeka. She just loved saying her name. I said, wow.
Yeah, that's a really nice name.
Yeah.
Because it's different and
not a lot of people.
Unlike Crystal, everyone's named Crystal.
Not really. My brother from Dominican Republic calls you Cristal.
Well, listen, let me tell you, the first person to give me the name Cristal, to call me that, was Mrs. Yoho.
Oh.
Excuse me, Senora Yoho.
Oh, okay.
Who was my 9th and 10th grade Spanish teacher, and then 11th and 12th I had Mrs. Tai, who is still local. Hi, Lil. She told me to call her Lil because when I saw her and we were doing a stage show together.
Little James.
I could not bring myself to, it's very hard for me to bring myself to call my former teachers by their first name.
Oh, man.
Really hard.
Mr.
Really
Grace
hard.
and Mrs. Grace. Call me Tom. No.
Oh, my gosh. So even now with Lori just popped in.
Yeah.
It just does not compute to me. And I know she's like, no, we are friends now. We are colleagues and we are friends. Student, teacher, colleagues, and now friends. So
well, Lil.
Yeah.
Lil.
Lily and Tom.
Watch the show. It was very entertaining and informative. It's going to be there on,
Yeah, Harold Ty from very involved in the Sullivan County Dramatic Workshop.
Yes, I know.
Lori, just want to say I love you.
We both love you.
Yes.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye.
Yes.
If you didn't catch the beginning, go back and we talked about different things.
It's funny.
We are friends now, not.
Yeah, I love how she typed it in all caps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a great show. Like my husband said, if you didn't get a chance to see the show from the beginning, go back and watch it. We had Neeka DeGraw Voiles on, who grew up locally in Fallsburg, obviously part of the DeGraw family. If you are familiar with them, Gavin and Joey. Antoinette came on earlier. She grew up in Fallsburg.
And she went to school with
Kenitha Corley came on, and she grew up in Fallsburg.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful show.
Yeah. The local has it.
The local yokels, yes.
Yeah. Coming up on our show, we're going to have the cast. And actually, they're sending me their movie.
When are you talking about?
They're coming up soon.
Okay, so let me announce the guests for next week.
Okay.
As opposed to jumping the gun.
Well, they were supposed to come next week, but that's okay. They'll go the following week. Go ahead.
Our guest for next week is already booked. It is the
Yes.
last Monday in February, so we're wrapping up Black History Month.
Mhm.
Our good friend Oliver King is going to be joining us, and he is going to be doing a little excerpt from Frederick Douglass, whom he performs all over
Mhm.
as Frederick Douglass, and he is exceptional. So please join us next Monday night, you guys, at 8 p.m. with Oliver King.
Okay. And with
Thank
that,
you guys for watching.
we say love,
Love,
peace,
peace,
and harmony.
harmony.
If you have love, you have peace. If you have peace, you could create harmony.
Just like
Thank
this.
you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.